It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
Ready for an early retirement question?
Love it.
Sure.
Chris says, I'm 37 and married. I'm maxing out my 401k as well as our Roth IRAs, and I'm seriously wanting to cut down on working or maybe even retire in our early 50s. So as he's thinking about this, he asks, which financial milestone would I need to reach in order to achieve this?
It sounds to me like Chris needs to know his number, right? He's 37 and he's married and he maxes his 401k and he maxes. By the way, y'all, I get some flack for repeating the question. It's because I'm making sure I heard it right.
Yeah, you got to get the details
right. That's just
right.
active listening for all of you trolls out there. So 37, married, maxes 401k, maxes Roth, looking to retire in his early 50s. And he's looking for some benchmarks, right? He's looking to figure, okay, how do I know if I can do this? And I imagine the question he's asking, Brian, is a lot of people think, okay, when I hit $1 million, then can I retire? Or when I hit $2 million, then can I retire? Did he say if he had kids or anything?
He did not.
He didn't say, when my kids get out of the house, then can I retire? What are some of the ways that when we work with clients, we work with individuals, we help them know, okay, yes, this is when we can sign off, you can leave the workforce. And if early retirement is that thing, there's how we know we have a high level of confidence you can do it early.
Well, yeah. I mean, when we created the financial order of operations, we did 25% because we know if you do that pretty much all the way into your 40s, you're going to be able to have a decent retirement.
Yep.
But I will tell you that this whole new thing, well, it's not new because this concept of retiring early or at least having financial independence early has been around for a long time. I mean, even myself, when I first got into probably in my 20s, if you'd asked me, I said I wanted to be financially independent and just quit working because I wanted to be a school teacher when I was 50 to 55.
Ooh, 50.
But come on, I'm already running one of the largest online classrooms, so you don't have to worry. I'm not going anywhere because I just somehow built this content empire that allows me to teach a lot more people than if I went to and retired into a classroom. But it is one of those things where I think when you are trying to create a unique goal of you want to be independent at a much earlier age than what the traditional person is out there doing, then you need to be thinking, I'm going well beyond 25%. You're going to 30, you're going to 40, even potentially 50% savings and investment rates based on your gross income. So, but I hate to tell you that and then not give you some type of tool or metric that tells you you're doing it right, because what I don't want you to do is you set up this aggressive goal of saving 40 to 50% of your gross income, and then you wake up and you're my age, getting close to 50, and you go, man, I didn't go on enough vacations. Mm-hmm. I got all this big pot of money. If somebody would just given me some feedback on where I was in this whole journey on what I was actually shooting for, I could have maybe enjoyed life a little bit more. Because that's what I want you, being a financial mutant, maximize not only building wealth, but also building the best version of yourself financially and life version of yourself. So when you are older, you have you're very sentimental and can be, because it happens naturally when you're in your 40s. I was trading emails, one of my clients who's a year older than me, and we were just talking about it because he's even sent me, how many times do clients send you poems, Bo, that they carry around in their pockets? This is the great stuff that's out there. When you get to be in this stage, but I don't want you to have regrets. And that's why, look, we try to, because I had somebody posted a comment over the weekend, said, I hate it when you guys have products because it feels like a grift. I'm like, we're not doing this to be a grift. I mean, we're doing this because I actually see a need that we can't meet. Every person who watches the show might be wondering, what's my number? Know your number was born out of the fact that I think a lot of people out there are trying to figure out, what am I saving for so I can do it the right way, so that I can make sure I'm not overshooting the goal. So I get there and go, man, I should have done more vacations. I should have built more memories with the family. But I also don't want you to YOLO this thing out to where you get to 50 years old and you're like, man, I thought I was going to have more than this at this point. I guess I'm working until I'm 70. There's got to be a balance there. And that's why if you go to learn.moneyguy.com, we do have a brand new course and tool out right now called Know Your Number. And I think it would be tremendously valuable. And plus, for the people who say grift, where do y'all think? We have 6 people on staff writing this content. We want to hire 2 more. Where do y'all think that comes? I love giving away tons of free advice. As I told you, I was trying to retire early so I could be a school teacher. But I've realized we touch millions of people every month with this content. But it's not like it's free. I mean, that's what I'm like. People who want us to give them free, and I love giving away. I love the abundance cycle and giving away tons of free stuff. But stuff does cost things.
Sure.
I mean, if I had somebody who made cookies for me that I loved, and they brought me cookies once a week, I'd be like, man, it is so great that they bring me cookies. But at some point, I think you'd start feeling guilty. Like, I'd at least buy them some sugar and flour. I mean, seriously. I mean, don't you think that would probably come into the equation at some point? If Brian and Bo are showing up with a plate of cookies every week, well, at some point, let's pitch in for the sugar and flour.
I love what I love about answering this question of like, how do I know when? So knowing your number is one piece of it, but then. So early on, you got to know your savings rate. And then as you're developing your savings rate, then you got to know your number. Well, then as you start approaching your number, you got to answer the question, okay, does this work? And that's one of the things that we love helping our clients with by helping them figure, okay, what am I going to spend in retirement? What are my living expenses going to be? How often am I going to replace cars? What's my travel budget going to look like? If I'm retiring in my 50s, how am I going to pay for insurance until I get to 65? And then what happens at 72 when I have to start taking required minimum distributions? And what if we have more investment years like 2022? Well, before we sign off and say, hey, yes, you are at the point where you can retire, we want to stress test all that. We want to run all that through a Monte Carlo simulation to adjust the variables to see what is the probability of success that you can actually leave the workforce. And frankly, one of my favorite things in the entire world to do, and I had the chance to do this 2 weeks ago. I was meeting with a lady who unfortunately her husband passed away, and she was like, I'm in a bad spot. I'm not gonna be able to make it. And so we did a retirement analysis and we adjusted the variables and worked through it. And I said, hey, I know you're worried. You're gonna be fine. You're going to be able to leave. You're going to be able to retire. The thing that you did not think was possible is still, in fact, possible. And we have the analytics and the data to show that. But before you get there, Chris, you have to make sure that you work through the exercise. What am I going to spend? What's retirement going to look like? What variables can I know? Can I account for? And what are the unknown unknowables that I need to stress test against to make sure that I can make this over the long term? I think it's a fun place to be at 37. And kudos to you for already thinking through, okay, what does this look like? How do I know if I'm moving in the right direction? The fact that you're already maxing out your 401k, already maxing out your Roth, you're doing a lot of the stuff that you ought to be doing. And I'm excited to hear from you in the near future, hopefully.